Hello and welcome back to another episode of the In the Game podcast. I'm your host, Bryan Clinton, and we are talking college football 25 as always. It's Friday, May 31st, and we have some real gameplay footage. We've got real gameplay footage. We saw it come out this morning right around 10 o'clock local time here in the Midwest. And guys, I don't even know where to start. I'm just so excited about talking about this. College Football 25 dropped a gameplay deep dive over on their blog as well. We'll put that down in the comments on YouTube. But if you're listening on podcast, we are just kind of looking or watching this gameplay footage as it just loops there from YouTube, and we're going to go through some of the more important things as we got some information from College Football 25 on how some of these gameplay elements are really going to look whenever it comes to the way College Football 25 is going to play. All right, the first thing that I think a lot of people are jumping past is EA really took the time to let us know what the pregame campus IQ concept, what all of that stuff means. So there are three pillars that this game, the fundamentals of this game are built on. Their pillars are all 22 plus, 134 ways to play, and stories of Saturday. So what all 22 plus encapsulates is the importance of individual players and their abilities, which is unique to each player. So this is where you hear people talking about the difference in talent between the best and worst players on the field. So if you are playing as Georgia and you're playing a conference game against Vanderbilt, clearly those two teams, regardless of them being in the SEC, there's just two different levels of talent there. And you see that play out in real life on games on Saturday when Georgia wins that game 65-0. There's a reason for that. One team has a lot better players than the other does. And so they're emphasizing that in this game, which, again, this is the point of this game is for it to be as realistic as possible. And you see that very much so in the way that they're building this game out. 134 ways to play. They say that from day one, the message was for every team is somebody's favorite team. So what they're getting at there is, and they use the Air Force triple option and the air raid at USC, like getting those things right was very important. But it's more than just the offensive schemes. They wanted each game to feel as if you were really playing at those stadiums. If you're playing as USC, you're really playing in the Coliseum. If you're playing as Georgia, there you're playing between the hedges, and if you're going to really emphasize that, it does become the love letter to college football that everybody's been really hoping that this game would be. And to this point, it really does seem that that's what they're trying to encapsulate, and they've done a good job. So the playbook, the game day experience, the offensive and defensive schemes, like you're seeing all of those things work together for the greater good. And that's really what this breaks down to. So, and then the third pillar that they built this game on is the stories of Saturday. So this is where you're going to have a wide variance of emotional reactions from student athletes, whether they're freshmen or seniors. You see how those guys are going to perform under intense pressure and hostile environments. So this is really where you see the home field advantage stuff kind of come into play. How is a true freshman going to respond in a night game at Death Valley versus how is a senior quarterback going to respond? There's variance there. It's not like Madden where you've got these set outcomes because of X factors and players having, their X factor is going to always override something. That's not how this works out. There's actually variance to this, and you see this really kind of begin to take steps towards it being a realistic outcome. You're seeing players not only play to the ability that they can in home environments, but not being able to play to that same level in hostile environments because their composure's broken. It's a little different, playing in front of 80,000 people that want you to lose. It's a little bit different than having everybody on your back. So it's going to be really interesting to see the balance and the dynamic that they use in that. And I'll be very interested to see if this is something that people end up enjoying, or if it's it can go one of two ways. You're either going to love the dynamic or you're going to hate it. And so that's going to be something to watch and be keeping up with. One of the things that really stuck out to me here in the gameplay trailer from today is just how fluid the movements look. If you're watching that first scene there with Ollie Gordon, where he is breaking into the open field, God, that's Boone Pickens Stadium is so well represented in this shot. But you see him playing against Ole Miss, and he breaks into open field and is able to make some moves. It just looks fluid. The speed of the game, you can tell it just kind of jumps off the screen compared to what you're used to seeing in Madden. So you've heard that from a lot of guys that have had firsthand experience playing the game, and it translates well. You can really see that. Another big thing that we see a lot of talk about right now is the wear and tear system. So this is not just a factor of it's not like fatigue. Fatigue is in the game as well. It's a totally different part of the game, though. So you're going to actually see players as the hits pile up. We've got a Clemson running back here as an example. His risk of injury is severe because he's taken some shots to the chest, and that's going to be something that he needs to take a breather. It's whether it be a stinger, whether it just be he's gotten rolled up on and his ankle's hurt. It's a little different then. So this is going to be more physical ailments than it is just he's out of gas. So that's going to be something that really influences players to make sure that they have good depth on their roster. And it gives you like this real tangible experience as a coach. If you're playing Dynasty, you've got to have good players behind your starters. And with the transfer portal and the balance of all of that, it gives you a real challenge that we see college football coaches really have to balance in real life. So it's going to be a challenging game. It's going to be something that is going to keep you on your toes. And for sports games that have almost become so watered down in recent years, with Madden just becoming a repeat pretty much every single year, this is something totally new, something totally separate that we haven't ever seen before. And for us to get a brand new system, this wear and tear system, is really exciting because you just never really know how things are going. That's the thing. You don't know how this is going to look until we all get our hands on it. We're actually able to play the game for itself. But from all the returns, it sounds like this is something a lot of people have high hopes for, and for it to be something that you truly have to use a playbook. You can't just run halfback dive at somebody, pick up 6 yards a rush, and use that all the way down the field. You're going to have your running backs piled up on the injury report, and you're not going to be nearly as effective as you could be if you're actually running a true offense. This is going to take something that I really took away from this is it's going to take some football knowledge to play this game and to play it well. It is. You're not going to be able to one button press this all the way through and really experience it. So that is going to probably turn some people off to the game. That it does have that extra layer of challenge to it. But for people who have been waiting for a college football game to come out for the last decade, that's really good news, because the replayability, the challenge of consistently trying to find new ways to have success is going to be a lot of fun. And that wear and tear dynamic is going to be, it's going to bring a lot of realism, and you're going to have to really manage a roster, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So that kind of breaks into the all 22 plus part of the game. Another thing, and this is true as we go down the list here in college football 25's deep dive that they have on their blog here, the option game, with it being such a fundamental part of college football, they really took a deep dive into how the mechanics of that work. So, we see triple option stuff at Army. We see some of that obviously at Air Force. There are teams that use the old fashioned wing tee or wishbone style of option, and there is stuff like that in this game. But when they say the option game, that encapsulates RPO as well, which is really what has taken off in college football. It gives you the ability as a quarterback to have multiple options when the ball is snapped, and you can either give, you can keep, or there's a throwing option there. It's really a game of putting the ball where the defense is not, and that's why it's so hard to defend. Well, not only has EA taken the time to make sure they get the dynamics of that offense right, they've also taken the time to make sure that the defense, the AI that's used on the defense, is going to play defense against the option a little differently than we've ever seen. And so you're going to, they talk about it here. It says new AI logic has been added for the read and pitch keys, including read key animations. Read keys now consider more realistic context when deciding to crash or stay home. For instance, they're more likely to stay home and play the quarterback when on the wide hash marks. So if you've got more room, the defender is going to, as they would in a real game, they're going to take that option and take that inside option and let the defense rally on the pitch man. So that's really cool. Like the fact that they've gotten that broken down to a point that the game understands that logic is just awesome. And that just makes the experience, the ceiling for this experience, just so high. The level of detail that goes into that, it would be really easy to get immersed if they did truly balance this right. So that's really exciting. And then the shells. So your covered shells. This is something that for me is just refreshing. I'm so excited about this part. So football problems require football solutions. It says, with the removal of base alignment, we want to put our time and effort into improving alignment, along with giving players the ability to disguise their coverages. This is the addition to the chess match that our core fans have been asking for. Yes, this is how college football is truly played on Saturdays. It's a chess match. You never, you have your base schemes that you fall into on defense when, if you've got a team that is a base 4-3 and they fall into that during a no huddle situation, but you are always going to have keys that you make adjustments to when the offense is calling plays. Your defense is always going to respond. Like that's how the game works. And for you to be able to disguise those things, both pre and post snap, or pre and post lining up on the snap, it's so cool to see that you can not only change the way that you're lining up and disguising things, but you can do that not just in the secondary, but at the front. If you can do that with your linebackers, it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be something that you can use to, when you're playing against your friends, if your football knowledge is a little bit higher than theirs, or your football IQ is a little higher than theirs, you could really cause some problems. So, and that's the beauty of it, is when you have friends that are maybe less inclined with football knowledge, you can play with a worse team, as far as like the overall rating goes, and you can level that out. Your football IQ with a team like Cal versus, no offense to the Bears, but if you're playing with a team like Cal and your friend is using Oregon or Ohio State, and you have superior knowledge, but they have uh, the superior players across the board, it really balances that out, and you can find ways for that to be fun and entertaining, and it's really going to be an interesting dynamic there. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about all the different things that come with this game. But probably the thing I'm most excited about is just how the pre-snap and post-snap stuff looks. So it's going to be fun. The abilities is something that we'll touch on lightly here. There's 80 abilities in this game, and they're going to be a player is able to have 8 total. They'll have 3 mental abilities and 5 physical abilities at most. And those are divided into 4 tiers. It goes from bronze to silver to gold and then to platinum. And as those tiers go up, the effects of specific abilities are going to be improved. And so um, lots of depth to that, tons of depth. There is no way that we can sit here in a 30-minute or 20 or 30-minute episode and go through all of those. But an example that's used is Travis Hunter. He's got 5 different physical abilities and 3 mental abilities here. So his fan favorite mental ability gives him increased composure gains at home. Best friend, his quarterback composure gain on a first down catch. So whenever he catches a ball on the first down, his quarterback gains composure, which is pretty cool. Clear-headed protection from composure loss. So he's not going to lose his composure maybe as quickly as somebody without that ability. And then we flip over to the physical attributes or abilities, and he's got sure hands, so it improves his standard catch rating. So, that's going to help with that. 50-50, it gives him improved jump ball ability. Double dip, improved double move routes. And so his platinum requires a 95 deep route, and he currently has a 91. It talks about that right here on his list as I'm going down the deep dive here. So it talks about for him to reach the platinum level, he needs to have a 95 rating on deep routes, and currently he's sitting at 91. So it's going to be based on your overall in certain areas, which is pretty cool. Layout gives him improved dive catches, and then recoup gives him improved fatigue recovery. So maybe where some players would need 2 or 3 plays to recover, he's going to be able to recover in 1 or 2 plays, and just in less time, which is cool. So the attributes are going to be a big part of it, and something that we dive into a little further. The confidence and composure, so that's going to come into play when you're on the road and you are playing in hostile environments. There's actual screen shaking. Your players, your quarterback pre-snap. If he's a senior, he might be able to see a blitz coming. If he's a freshman, you're going to be kind of left in the dark on what to do. And you may have some of your the routes. The route tree that you're looking at is going to be not nearly as clear as what's going on. You may not know which button you're supposed to press for a certain wide receiver. The things. It really is just trying to make you feel the nervousness, the everything that's going on in the game, and that would be happening in real life. They want you to feel that as the quarterback in when you're playing. So that's really cool. We see a lot of other things here as well with the playbooks. As we said, there's not all 134 teams are different. So you're going to have a lot of little different nuances. Of course, you're going to have a lot of people run the same plays. You're going to see inside zone. You're going to see outside zone. You're going to see these, dive, and you're going to see mesh concepts. You're going to see things that other teams run. It's just going to look different because you have little nuances in each offense that make things look and appear different. And that's what's really cool about it. And so for you to have real tangible differences with each team is just so cool. And that, again, just adds to more depth to the game. And then some of the last things that were really touched on here, we've got a new kicking. There's a new kicking setup where the mechanics are just different. It's going to look totally different. So you're going to have to adjust to that and try and figure out a new. It's no longer the analog stick like it was when this game was around first. With you pull it back and push it forward. Things have changed, so we're going to have to adjust to that. There's also some new dynamics with how the weather changes things. So wet footballs obviously are more challenging for players to control. So you may have increased fumbles or drops. It's going to be harder to plant and cut whenever the field surface is wet. There's just tons of different things to cover there. And like I said, you've got to get over to EA.com and go find their gameplay deep dive, because it goes so in depth that we don't even have time to cover all of it here on the episode. There's probably a whole another 15 or 20 minutes worth of reading to go over there. But there's a lot to this game, and this gameplay video that we got today was just incredible. Don't think my hopes could be any higher for this game at this point. And as Michael Scott said, I'm ready to be hurt again. I'm so excited about this game that at this point, I just don't see any way that I'm not going to be absolutely in love with it. And there are just so many things that we still don't know about it yet, and the depth to which EA has gone to make this game what it is over the last 3 years is just so exciting, because the more that we see about it, the more folks get excited. And I think we are reaching a new point of just a level of not just excitement, but anticipation that I just haven't seen for a video game in a long time. And to those that were concerned about this being a Madden reskin, today was kind of like that confirmation that there could not be anything further from the truth. That is not at all what this game is. It looks totally different, and I, for one, am super excited about that. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you tuning in, listening, checking out the YouTube videos. Guys, if you like the show, please just consider liking and subscribing it on your podcast platforms, wherever you're at, wherever you're watching. If you guys like the video, just keep letting us know what we can do better there as we build this channel out and as we get closer to the actual release of this game. We've got a lot of other stuff coming up for you in the coming weeks and months. We're excited about that. But until next time, that's going to do it for us. We appreciate you, and we'll catch you next time.